Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be looking at the income tax return for the years 2018 to 2021. So this is a follow-on video from my last video, which covered how to get tax back on your medical expenses, how to get your 20% back there. So this is how you're going to actually get those refunds back into your bank account. So the thought of doing an income tax return is very scary for a lot of people, and they kind of shy away from it. They don't want to log into their revenue account. God forbid there's tax that they owe, which I completely understand. When you make it very overcomplicated and not user-friendly to a lot of people, unfortunately. So my job is just to show you how to do this and in a user-friendly way. And it's very, very simple. And once you learn how to do this the first time, you're going to know how to do this for life. So my number one tip with, if you've never seen a video like this before, when I talk about an income tax return, do not be put off by the sound of it. It's very scary, the term income tax return, because you think that only professionals can be doing this, but the reality is every employee in Ireland should be doing this every year, regardless if you think you're owed tax back or not. But this only applies to people who are employees in Ireland. So anyone that's self-employed watching, unfortunately I don't cover that in this video. You probably may have an accountant on board and they will advise you on how to complete your income tax returns that way. And they're done a lot later in the year as well, and I highly recommend getting an accountant to do those for you. In this video I'm going to go through the years 2018 to 2021, and they're the exact same way for each return. So I'm going to look at 2018. I'll be jumping over to a screen share in a few minutes, and I'm going to only look at 2018 just to show you how to do that. And it's the exact same process then for 2019, 20 and 2021. The reason I highly recommend everybody do their income tax return every single year is because sometimes it's hard to rely on your payroll departments to make sure everything is correct. Now, fair enough, some places might be fine, but I recommend doing this anyway to balance everything up throughout the year. So between your income and your tax that you owe. So to just tidy everything up and make sure everything that's on revenue is correct. What happens sometimes is if you were between jobs, so if you start a job halfway through the year, that in between period there might be a little overpayment of tax. You might have been put on emergency tax due to a crossover between the employments, so the overpayments that are done will be repaid back to you. So not everyone is going to get a tax refund, unfortunately. So you may log into your revenue account as I'm doing the steps, and you might see an underpayment will come up, and you may owe tax for a particular reason, but there's always a reason behind that. And if you're ever stuck, you can pop a message to Revenue via my Enquiries, and they'll explain exactly why you owe tax. A lot of employees, unfortunately, during 2020, when COVID happened, a lot of people were put on the pandemic unemployment payments, and those unfortunately were not taxed at the time in real time. So a lot of people logged in to look at their 2020 income tax return and realised they owe tax. But do not panic, there is a way to deal with this. You will owe tax on it, they will collect it, and I'll show you exactly what they do in that situation. Another reason you may owe tax may be due to being out on illness benefit. Sometimes people are not aware that they owe tax on this as well. A lot of social welfare payments are taxable, and when you go back to work you are hit with the tax that you owe. They reduce your tax credit, so I'll explain that further later on as well. And don't forget, when you complete your income tax return and a couple of weeks later you realise you forgot a receipt or you forgot something, you can go back and amend these. You have a 4-year limit to go back and amend. So for 2018, for example, as there is a 4-year limit, you have until the 31st of December of 2022 to make sure everything is claimed. Otherwise, it's just going to be written off and you will not be able to claim after January 1st, 2023. I am going to jump over to my screen share now and go through the steps, and I'm going to be looking at the year 2018 because that's the one that's most urgent at the moment, and then it's going to be the exact same process for each of the next 3 years, so 2019, 2020 and 2021. So I'm going to go through the steps for 2018, show you how to do that, and then you'll have no issues going to 2021 and completing those yourselves. And as always, if you have any questions at all, please pop them in the comments, or you can DM me on my Instagram or email me as well. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to revenue.ie and click on My Account up top. This is the only login method you're going to use. ROS is for people who are self-employed and company accounts, etc. So if you're a PAYE taxpayer, you're only concerned with the My Account. If you've never logged in before, it takes a couple of days to get PIN sent out to you, but it's very quick and you will be good to go then. So what you're going to do is log into your account. So once you're logged in, this is going to be your dashboard for your My Account. And the only things you're going to actually be using on this page are the PAYE services on the left. And then you'll also be looking at the My Documents folder, where you're going to get your latest tax credit certificate or your latest statement of liability, but I'll touch on those at a later stage. And then of course My Enquiries is your direct messenger to Revenue. So if you have any queries, specific queries, you can message them there and they'll get back in a couple of days ideally, but that's the quickest way. And anytime you ring Revenue, they're going to tell you to use this service. So as you can see, we are going to be using our PAYE services, and the current year will always be at the very top under Manage Your Tax, and in this case it's 2022. And then you will always have the last 4 years that you can access. If you forget any receipts, etc., you can go back in and upload them and claim them. So we're looking at 2018, and that's going to be available until the end of this December, so another couple of weeks, and this won't be available to you anymore. So really important that you can get everything that you need to claim for 2018 right now. So we're going to click on Review Your Tax 2018 to 2021. Once you are in here, you're going to see a drop down for the years and options. So we are looking at 2018 for now, but that's how you would go and select the year that you need to do. So we're going to look at 18 for now and click on select. Then down here you will see income tax return and then statement of liability. And then if you've never done this before, you're going to see request will come up here, but as I have done this before, I'm getting the option to amend because I can go back and upload something that I might have missed. You might also see an option to edit, so both of those are fine. Just click on whatever is available. So for now I'm going to click on amend. For this prompt, just click on OK. Something also to note, if you are jointly assessed with your partner, it's only the assessable spouse that will be allowed to complete these returns. So you can change this to whoever you want that to be. So when you log in to do your income tax return like this, you get a notification somewhere saying if you are not the assessable spouse, it will give you the option to become the assessable spouse, because it just only allows for one person to be able to complete the return. My advice is just to pick someone who is going to be responsible for doing these returns, and somebody who wants to do it, I guess, but it's very easily changed at any stage, so don't worry. So another point in relation to being jointly assessed, if one person in a joint assessment is self-employed, they are registered for income tax and they are self-assessed. Basically, if there's one person who is self-employed and the other is an employee, you will not be able to complete your income tax return in the way that I'm doing it now. Normally, you will have an accountant that does that for you. So as you can see, there are 6 sections to this income tax return, and I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can. I will be pointing out all of the most important items that you should be taking note of, or where easy tax relief is available. So sorry if a lot of this doesn't apply to everybody, but I will be covering a lot of different areas in this. But naturally, if some of these don't apply to you, you can just skip right through. But I will be looking at the most common areas where you can get tax back and the most important areas to make note of. So page 1 is just a summary of everything that you need to click on. So just scroll down to the bottom and click on next. Section 1 is your personal details, and I'm just after scrolling down halfway through the page because I don't want to show a lot of my personal information, but a lot of questions come up about this part here: ordinarily resident and domiciled in Ireland. Basically, if you're working full-time in Ireland over the last year of this year, we're doing 2018, and you're a full-time employee paying PAYE tax, then it's yes to both of these. At the bottom of this page, then you're going to have your bank details. Obviously I can't show that, so just to make a note of that, make sure to have all of your up-to-date banking information there. Section 3 then is your PAYE income, and this is going to list the gross pay that I had for 2018 below in this section here. I obviously can't show it again, so it will list, if you had a couple of jobs, they'll be listed below, and it will show all the breakdown of your taxes. You don't need to pay much attention to this area because what you were paid, it is what it is, and just click next onto the next section. Section 4 is your non-PAYE income. So this is a large area for a lot of people relating to, for example, 2020, when a lot of people are put on the PUP. You'll be paying attention here. So this is where, if you were being paid a Department of Social Protection social welfare payment, they should automatically come into this section 4 of your income tax return automatically from the DSP. It should come up down in this section here. So for example, if you were on the PUP during 2020, you should see pandemic unemployment payment come up down here and the total amount that you were paid. If that amount is incorrect, you will need to follow up with mywelfare.ie to see why it's not agreeing. I have seen that happen where the amount doesn't match what you actually received, so just keep an eye on that. It actually gives you a breakdown of all of those DSP payments you can get. So for example, you'll see job seekers benefit in here, maternity benefit, illness benefit, paternity benefit, they'll all be listed here. But generally you do not have to select any of these and input them yourself. You shouldn't have to. So for example, there you're going to see the amount. You shouldn't have to enter those yourself. They should automatically come in from the Department of Social Protection. At the end of the day, these are all taxable payments that you receive from social welfare. So they have to track it somehow, and that's why it's in real time, I guess. The system they have is they have to bring in the amounts received for each person into revenue, because that's how they collect tax on those payments. Eventually they reduce your tax credits, so I guess they have to have some live system set up for this. So yeah, just keep an eye on it. Any social welfare payments that you have got for that year should come up here. This section is also where you're going to enter any other income that you might have on top of your regular job, your regular PAYE income. So a lot of people might have some work on the side along with their full-time job. So for example, a lot of teachers get in contact with me regarding grinds that they might do, and they want to declare that income. So I'll show you where you will enter that. And this goes for any other person in any other industry that makes extra income on the side. So what you're going to do is click on other income here, and you'll see a list of all the other types of income within this criteria. So for example, rental income here, and then what you're going to look at is trading profit. So you're going to click on select here. So I'm just going to put in some examples. So if you say here, like the default coming up, consultancy, or let's just say it's grinds, so teaching grinds. I don't know what the fancy word is for that, just this will do for now. Commencement date, let's just say you started it on the 1st of January 18, and the accounting period end date, let's say it's December of that year. For gross income, I've put in an example of €1,000 there, and then indicative sharing farming, no. We are going to assume a profit in this situation, so you're clicking this box, and then I'm going to assume my expenses, let's say they're €200. My profit is going to be €800, so that's €1,000 less than 200. My profit is €800. Revenue is going to tax you on this profit, so it's going to be, this income is going to be on top of your regular PAYE income and will be taxed accordingly to your regular tax rates that are applicable to you. If this profit here reaches €5,000 or over, you need to be registering for income tax, And that is another story I can go through in another video, but you would need to be talking to an accountant in that situation. Click on add at the bottom of the page and you're good to go. Once you've added that income in, it should pop up in this section down here. You're going to click on next. This brings me to section 5, which is tax credits and reliefs. And in here, we're going to be looking at our medical expenses, our working from home, our health insurance, and I might show you one or two other small areas as well to keep an eye on. So in here, you will see, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see that the current tax credits that you're claiming already are going to be in this section down here. And if they're already coming up down here, it just means they're not going to be available when I go to click into these sections. So I will show you that as well. So the first one that I'm going to look at is health expenses. This is the huge area that I keep talking about. And you'll see here that I had €302 in for health expenses that year. So normally what would happen is you would click on health expenses here, or under health, and show more, and then you will see health expenses coming up here. But since I've already, claimed these, it's just automatically coming up below here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and click on edit. And then in here, you will see the 3 boxes, your general health expenses. And if you have a lot of your receipts already uploaded, which you should have done before you go and complete this, it's just a lot faster. You will see them listed up here. It might say a total of, you currently have 302 receipts uploaded. Do you want to input those? So you will just write in the total figure there, the 302. Then down here you will see the dental, the non-routine expenses that will go in there, and you will click on update or add in this section here. In relation to health insurance, I get asked this quite a lot. So if you pay health insurance privately, you have your own premium set up through your, for example, LEA, your VHI and all of that, you do not claim any tax relief through your income tax return. It's already done for you. It's tax relief at source, I believe it's called. So you don't need to do anything to do with your health insurance. So on the other hand, if part of your employment you get a benefit in kind by your employer that they pay your health insurance on your behalf, that is when you can claim health insurance tax relief. So what you're going to do is click on health, and then in here medical insurance, click on select. And you're just going to fill in the information that they're asking for there. It's very straightforward. The gross amount paid by your employer, you should be able to pull that from a pay slip at the year end. You should see a total, but this is capped at €1,000 per adult and €500 per child. This section is also where you can claim the nursing home expenses. So if you pay nursing home fees on behalf of a relative, you can claim your tax relief here. And it's the same thing again, you'll just pop in, fill out the information they're asking for, and click on add. Another one I'm going to cover is the income continuance. So if you have income protection set up, you pay into this privately yourself, not through your employer. So if it's through your employer, you don't need to do anything. So for example, if it's through your payroll, you see the deduction coming off your wages each week. You will only claim tax relief if you have a policy set up privately yourself. You're going to select or click on select, and then name of insurer and the amount you paid during the year, and then you'll get your tax relief. The next section then is you and your family, and in here you're going to find a very popular one, which is tuition fees. So if you have paid college tuition fees on behalf of a family member, you can claim your tax relief here. You're just going to enter some of the information that they need, the name of the student. It's very, very easy. Qualifying tuition fees, etc. Fill all of that information in and you get your tax relief there as well. One of the major tax reliefs that is completely forgotten about or not realised by a lot of people is the flat rate expenses. So I claimed one for 2018. I'm going to click on edit here. And then inside here, you will see a load of different types of industries: retail, shipping, veterinary, transport, public sector. You have hotel and bar trade, which was huge, particularly during COVID, that are hardest hit areas. Journalism. Massive one is education. This is for teachers, and there's a ton of different types of flat rate expenses that can be claimed. So just say a regular full-time teacher, part-time, subbing, etc. School principals, there's loads in there and they're up to like €500. So it's definitely worth claiming if you've never done it before. If you want to check if you're currently getting one, you need to read your latest tax credit certificate, and that can be found in my documents here. I'm not going to go into it now because I don't want to get sidetracked, but if you read at the top of your latest tax credit certificate, it should say flat rate expenses under tax credits. If you are currently working on 2020 or 2021 income tax return and you're looking at this video, because I'm in 2018, it wasn't available at the time, but working from home relief, it will be included under your job in here. So it's just not here because it wasn't available at the time, but you will see it popping up in the more current tax returns. So what you're going to do is the exact same way as the medical expenses. You're going to have your receipts uploaded there, and you're going to need to know how many days you're working from home. You will enter that information and you'll get your tax relief there. In a situation where you have a house share, you're only going to be claiming for the amount that you paid. So you're going to upload the bill for that electricity, for example, as normal, but you're only going to claim the amount that you paid. The last two sections I'm going to look at here are your pension contributions and your EVCs that you want to claim tax relief on. So just these are the most common things I get asked every single day. So for your pension, if you have a private pension set up and you want to claim your tax relief on that, this is only for people who set up their policy external to their employment. If you are paying into a pension through your employment, it's going to come up on your pay slips under deductions. It's going to say pension contributions, etc. That basically tells me that you're getting all your tax relief. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to do what I'm going to show you here. This is only for people who have a private pension set up external to their employment. So you're going to click on your job, and then it's going to be under personal retirement savings accounts, PRSA. This is your pension contributions here. Click on select, and then you're going to fill in this information. You will have that information based on the documents you're given to set up your policy. It looks like a lot, but it's actually not. So fill in the information there, and then click on add at the bottom then, and you're done. Same process for your EVCs. If you do this outside of your employment, it's the exact same way. You're going to need to fill in that information there. Since Budget 2023 that was revealed last month, there's been so many questions asking me about the renter's tax credit. No information has been released on how they're going to implement this yet, but I will be sure to keep everybody up to date when that information is available. And last I heard, they're going to tell us how you can do that. It's going to be January 2023. So I suspect that it's going to come up under one of these headings. Perhaps you and your family are going to see renter's tax credit here. But don't worry, for 2022, you'll be able to go back and claim it if you want to claim it at a later stage. For now, I've covered a lot of different sections in that in section 5 of the return. So what you're going to do is at the bottom here, you're going to click on confirm all, and then you're going to go to next. And just so you know, the other items that come up here are default because every employee in Ireland are entitled to them. For example, your personal tax credit and your employee tax credit. The two in the middle are the ones that I'm claiming additional to these tax credits. So click on next. All you need to do in this section is it's your declaration. So at the very bottom of the page, you're going to see a box you're going to tick. That's all you need to do here. Click on submit, and you will be asked to sign in again, and you're completely done for that year. Now, it did look like it took me a bit of time to do 1 year, but that's because I was covering a lot of different areas. But like I said at the beginning, once you have all of your receipts uploaded, that's kind of the bulk of the work. If you have a lot of those, then you're going to fly through each of these sections very quickly because not everything is going to be applicable to you. So this is the box here you're going to tick. So once you've done all of that, in a couple of days, Revenue are going to pop you an email to say that you have a new document available in your account. You're going to pop in there, and it's going to be a new statement of liability. This is like a 2-pager document, and it's going to tell you whether you owe tax or not. And of course, if you were due a tax refund. So I've actually brought up my 2018 statement of liability, and as you can see, it's actually 4 pages, but a lot of it is not useful information, to be quite honest. So all you're going to be concerned about is page 1 and 2, and halfway down through page 1 you will see treatment of result under final result, and as you can see there, I had overpayment. That was €59.78. So basically I overpaid my tax by that amount overall after doing my income tax return. And what did they say? A payment of $59.78 will be made to my bank account. So that's what happens. It came into my bank account, I think, 4 days later. So as you can imagine, a lot of people may have large tax refunds, and the largest one that I've had on my Instagram page of what I've heard back from my followers, the biggest one was €7,500, so that's gigantic. So you'll never know what you're going to get back until you log in and complete the steps, and that's why I always encourage every employee in Ireland to do this every single year. And there can be other reasons why you might be owed tax back. For example, the USC, the rates during your payroll might have been incorrect, etc. There's just so many different reasons, but it's your responsibility to do these steps to basically tidy up everything throughout the year. If you see underpayment here, that means you owe tax for a particular reason. Generally, it's because you perhaps had a social welfare payment and they're now collecting tax on it, for example, the pandemic unemployment payment. And what happens there is, just do not panic. They are going to collect the tax over 4 years. So sometimes you may not even notice this. You'll see a note under treatment of results. They will tell you exactly what they're going to do. It's very clear. They will say, for example, you owe €100 and they're going to collect it over 4 years. So it's going to be €25 per year, and they're going to knock it off your tax credits. That's how they do it. So they reduce your tax credits, and that's how they collect the tax that you owe. So like I said, you may not even notice it. It can be bigger for some people, but it just all depends on your circumstances. So you won't know exactly until you do these steps and you get an exact figure. If you have any other issues with struggling to understand why you still owe tax, like I said, you can message Revenue through my Enquiries and find out why that way, and they will let you know specifically why you owe that tax. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'm excited to hear any feedback if you got a tax refund or if you managed to reduce a liability that you owe. That's fantastic. Let me know. I always love hearing feedback, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That helps support my channel and keeps me motivated to get this content out there to help other people, and give it a like as well. Thank you so much for watching, and talk soon.